What's up guys, this is TheKephas, and in this video I will be showcasing some new macros that I have created for World of Warcraft patch 8.0 using a mod called Gnome Sequencer Enhanced. For the purposes of making these macros available as soon as possible, please understand that this video is not a class guide. It will focus exclusively on the macros and how to use them. But don't worry, I fully intend to make new class guides once we're a bit deeper into Battle for Azeroth. Today, we will be taking a look at the macro that I've created for Marksmanship Hunters. Here, you can see me using it to level up into Zara lore. This macro will work for pretty much any level and in pretty much every situation, using new abilities and talents as you unlock them. This is an all-in-one macro, which means that it will pretty much cover your entire rotation, with the exception of multi-shot. You'll have to manage that one on a separate button. But it will cover everything else, prioritizing aim shot first, followed by rapid fire, and then arcane shot and steady shot. The macro is designed to weave arcane shot with steady shot with the goal of keeping your focus bar somewhere in the middle, not overcapping but also not starving yourself. And rapid fire also helps to keep you from overdraining your focus. In spite of that, there may be times where you'll find the macro is draining too much focus. The best thing to do here is to add steady shot on a separate button and then use it whenever you don't have enough focus. The macro does pretty good for the most part, but the occasional extra steady shot will help keep things where they need to be. The macro will also keep true shot on cooldown, and even though you don't normally use a pet when you're playing marksman, the macro can still manage your pet. If, for whatever reason, you have your pet summoned, the macro will command your pet to attack your target. It will also turn off growl when you're in a group and turn it back on when you're by yourself. It will also cast misdirection on your pet, but if you have a target focused, it'll cast misdirection on that target. The macro is also designed to work with just about all of the talents in your new talent tree, giving you a lot of freedom to choose whichever ones you want. But to make sure that you have a full understanding of how the macro works with your new talents, we will go over each tier one by one. In Tier 1, Master Marksman is a passive that works easily with the macro. Serpent Sting is a bit of a problem, because it's a dot ability with no cooldown, and since there aren't really any good abilities to buffer it, it's going to have to be managed on a separate button. But the macro will use a Murder of Crows on cooldown if you choose it as a talent. The first two talents of Tier 2 are passives that will work just fine with the macro. But due to how Explosive Shot works, for obvious reasons, it would not work within the macro, so you're going to have to manage it on a separate button. Tier 3 is a utility tier, so let's skip on down to Tier 4. Steady Focus requires you to use at least 2 consecutive steady shots, and the macro is not going to be able to do this. So if you choose this talent, you're going to have to start managing steady shot on a separate button. But Streamline will work with the macro just fine. And the macro will also put Hunter's Mark on your current target if you choose it as a talent. Tier 5 is another utility tier, so let's skip on to Tier 6. Lethal Shots is a passive that works very easily with the macro, but the macro will also cast Barrage and Double Tap on cooldown if you choose either one of those as a talent. In the final tier, the first two talents are passives that will work just fine with the macro, and the macro will also cast Piercing Shot on cooldown if you choose it as a talent. And that's basically everything you need to know about these macros and how they work. Remember, these macros work best when they are spammed, so either press the button as fast as you can or use a rapid fire button, which is fair game as long as you're the one pressing the button. As powerful as these macros are, they are far from perfect. So, if you want to play the game at a high level and get the most out of your class, I highly recommend that you play the game without these macros. But, if you'd like to get started with Gnome Sequencer Enhanced, you can do so by downloading and installing the mod. A link can be found in the description below. Along with it, you will find paste-bin links for any macros featured in this video. If you'd like to use them, simply click the link and you'll be taken to a raw paste-bin of the macro. Select the entire macro, copy, log into the appropriate class, type /GS to open the Gnome Sequencer screen, click on Import, paste the macro into the available space, make sure that Automatically Create Macro Icon is checked, and click Import. You can now drag the icon to your action bar and the macro is ready to be used. If you followed all the steps correctly, the macro should be working fine. If something isn't working, Start over and make sure that you follow all the steps correctly. If you are having further issues, I recommend that you check out the mod page or contact the mod's author for more information. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, let me know by clicking that like button, and feel free to share it with your friends so they can enjoy it as well. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to be notified as soon as new videos are posted. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and if you'd like, you can support this channel on Patreon. Links to all of this can be found in the description below. This is TheKephas. Until next time.